Good morning. So today I wanted to talk about rape. I have actually been doing some research into one of my favorite charity organizations, and the backlog.org and the Joyful Hearts Foundation, all of which is absolutely infuriating. You know, the 400,000 untested rape kits just sitting in storage beyond the statute of limitations where they could be prosecuted, allowing thousands of rapists to walk the streets free, and just dismissing victims who have done the brave thing and gone through with enduring that kind of examination so shortly after such a violating experience. So I think it's one woman every 68 seconds is raped in the United States, and most states aren't doing much about it. Some are better than others. But I was researching that, looking at what's going on there, and then today I am the family chauffeur running everybody around, and I made a comment on a barista's tattoo of Medusa. And when we pulled out, my niece kind of snapped at me, that means she was a survivor of sexual assault. And I thought, yeah, I do know what that means. I know the story of Medusa. I know what it is to be a survivor, and I respect her putting that on her arm, that defiance. She is not a victim, she is a survivor. And I acknowledged it. I wasn't gonna straight out say, oh, you're a survivor? Me too. I just, told her I liked the tattoo. And hopefully she recognized that I was acknowledging her bravery, at least in my head. But anyway, so those two things, I've been thinking about it a lot. So I decided to share my own story, my adult story. There were some events in early childhood, when I was a kid, some things happened, which I'm perfectly open about and we'll talk about, but it's not really relevant to this. What I'm thinking about is an instance when I was 16 years old. A friend of mine, call her Sarah, she was 14 and she had an older boyfriend, and one night she didn't want to have sex and he did, and he beat her brutally. He raped her. He violated her in multiple ways. She came to me. I was icing her bruises and putting Neosporin on the cuts, and it was horrible. And I had started dating a guy called Jeff. He was about 25, 26. One day, about 2 weeks after what happened to Sarah, I went to his place, and he lived in a trailer. As soon as I stepped into the trailer, I kissed him. We'd been seeing each other for about 2 weeks. This was the first time we were really alone together. And I came into the trailer and we kissed a bit. I tried to pull away when it started getting a little too much. And he grabbed me by my hair, slammed my head into a kitchen cabinet, threw me on the bed face down, and raped me. And then he told me he was petting me afterwards as I laid there crying. And he was telling me that someone else must have hurt me, that I was having flashbacks, and I can't believe something happened to you. I'd kill the person who hurt you. I'm so sorry you're remembering what someone else did to you. Complete manipulation, gaslighting, mindfuck. I left there. I remember walking to a McDonald's, sitting in the bathroom for a good hour, just crying. And then I went home. And I did not report it. I was a little bit just confused and didn't want to tell anyone. And then I had his whole manipulation in my head, wondering if I had somehow let things that happened in my earlier childhood seep into this experience. But at the same time, I knew he grabbed my hair and hit my head into the cabinet. There's no explanation for that. But the main reason I didn't report is I didn't think it was bad enough. I thought about what Sarah had been through, and that was an assault. That was a rape. That needed police attention. Mine was a bump on the head and an uncomfortable 5 minutes. And I just didn't realize how serious it was at the time. And, you know, it broke my best friendship. A guy, David, who I loved. He had been my best friend for years, and he told me, he said, "It's not that I don't believe you, I just don't want to get in the middle." And it broke my heart. I was devastated. I needed someone to support me. Not too long after, I was with friends and we went to this arcade cafe place, and you know, somebody came up as we were going in. Somebody ran out to tell me that Jeff was inside, and so I turned around, started walking back to the parking lot, and this girl came out screaming my name, and I turned around and I totally expected it to be a female friend of Jeff's who had been harassing me nonstop, making phone calls 24 hours a day to my then family home. My parents knew everything. Well, my mother did. So I turned around to face this girl in the parking lot, and she grabbed my hands and she looked me in the eye and she said, "I just want you to know that I believe you." That was a lot for me. I hadn't told many people, and I didn't want it to get out the way it had. And people either didn't believe me or wanted to stay out of it. And this strange girl telling me she believed me, it meant something. And then I found out that she was Jeff's new girlfriend. So, of course, she believed me. But it was very validating for her to come out and tell me. And I kind of wanted to reach out to her, but I was 16. I didn't really know what to do. I just wanted to put it all behind me. I immediately started dating a guy who was known for his violent temper. We were actually, we started dating when he was awaiting trial for manslaughter. He fled the state. It was a whole big ordeal. He ended up being very abusive, emotionally and mentally, but not physically. And right after what happened with Jeff, I wanted him because no one else could hurt me. He might, but he wasn't going to let anyone else hurt me. I felt very safe with this new guy, and we were off and on for years. And it was not my healthiest relationship. And it stemmed directly from needing protection from the rest of the world and feeling unsafe. And it's just a really unhealthy response to what happened. Anyway, I'm just thinking about this and thought I'd share my story, one of my stories. Unfortunately, there are, of course, more. If you do not consent, it doesn't have to be severe and violent. Assault is assault. All that matters is whether you were willing to participate or not. And I really recommend coming forward, because that's the only way to even have a hope of stopping people from committing these crimes, these violations in the future. So that's my story. I hope I didn't overshare. Stay safe, listen to your instincts, and I will be back soon. Bye.